Australia was plunged into shock and sorrow upon learning the tragic news about Lillie James. The details of her untimely demise were nothing short of heart-wrenching. Lillie was discovered lifeless in the school bathroom, her body bearing a severe head injury that rendered her almost unrecognizable, according to police reports. The extent of her injuries was so grave that the scene itself was described as a horrific sight. And today we're going to be exploring the tragic case of 21-year-old Lillie James, who was found dead in her school bathroom. But before we continue, if you haven't already, please do well to give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more. Now, let's get back to the story. Lillie James, a student and water polo coach from Sanssouci, New South Wales, met her tragic end in the bathroom of St Andrew's Cathedral School in Sydney CBD. The last known sighting of her alive was around 7 p.m. on October 25, 2023, when a man followed her into the gymnasium toilet. Her lifeless body was later discovered by police before midnight on the same day. Following the discovery, police launched investigations, initially focusing on St. Andrews, where they confirmed Lillie James as the victim of a homicide. The man who followed her was later identified as Paul Tyson, a sports coach who also worked at the school. Paul emerged as a prime suspect after reportedly vanishing from the scene. His last known location was at the Gap in Vaucluse, New South Wales, where he tragically took his own wife. Police identified his body on October 27, 2023. The layers of this deeply saddening story surrounding Lillie James and her tragic passing evoke widespread sorrow, not only within her local community, but across the entire nation. Her untimely death leaves everyone grappling with more questions than answers. Lillie James was born in May 2002 to Jamie and Peter James and lived in Sanssouci, New South Wales. She completed her schooling at Danebank in Hurstville in 2020 and pursued a degree in sports business at the University of Technology, Sydney the following year. During this period, Lillie's mom used to document every moment of her life on social media. Meanwhile, Lillie, despite being engrossed in her studies, was determined to leave a lasting impact as a part-time water polo coach at St. Andrew's Cathedral School. It was during this time that Lillie crossed paths with Paul Tyson, a sports coach and former student at the same school. Their professional relationship gradually turned into a romantic one and they began dating. Paul Tyson, born in the Netherlands, was an only child who attended St. Andrews from 2015 to 2017, where he held positions as a sports captain and member of the school leadership team. After returning to the Netherlands for university, he came back to Australia in 2020 to work as a cricket and hockey coach and after-hours coordinator at St. Andrews. He was also involved in coaching hockey at St. Vincent's College in Potts Point. Paul Tyson was pursuing his master's degree in teaching to become a physical education teacher. Now, the shocking thing is that both Lillie and Paul had no history of domestic violence or restraining orders against them. Details about Lillie and Paul's relationship remain somewhat unclear, but several students have come forward to shed light on Paul's behavior. Former students disclosed to the Saturday Telegraph that the former sports assistant would often boast about his relationship with Miss James and engage in behaviors that made them uneasy. In an exclusive interview with the paper, students labeled Paul Tyson as a creep, expressing discomfort with his wandering eye and flirtatious nature. One student remarked, "I'm shocked, but there is no denying he was a creep." Additionally, former peers from his school days describe him as arrogant, noting that he was disliked by boys but enjoyed popularity among girls. On the evening of October 25, 2023, around 7 p.m., Lillie James entered the school's gymnasium toilet, with Paul captured on CCTV following closely behind her. The two had recently ended their relationship, and it was believed that an altercation occurred between them in the toilet. Approximately an hour later, Paul exited the toilet alone and proceeded to Diamond Bay Reserve at 8:47 p.m., where he discarded a hammer in a nearby bin. He left the reserve at 9:49 p.m. and contacted the police 2 hours later, reporting a body at St. Andrews that required investigation. Before midnight on October 25, 2023, police discovered a woman's body in the gymnasium toilet of the school, described as a woman in her early 20s. She had suffered serious head injuries, making her unrecognizable. Police determined her death to be a homicide. The search for Paul Tyson, though not yet identified, began as authorities believe he could assist in the investigation. Around 4:30 a.m. on October 26, 2023, St. Andrews notified parents via email that the school would be closed for the rest of the week due to a critical incident. A subsequent text message at 6:30 a.m. assured parents that no students were involved. The school arranged for counselors to provide support to students and parents, with those taking exams relocated to separate buildings. Between 10:35 and 10:40 a.m., the woman's body was confirmed to be Lillie James by family friend. Paul Tyson was identified by police at 11:40 a.m. Adding to the complexity of this case, it was revealed that Paul Tyson sent a text message to James's father using her phone, asking him to pick her up from school. Xanthi Mallet, a criminologist, proposed that these texts might have been sent to ensure the discovery of James's body or to manipulate the timeline of her death. Meanwhile, criminal psychologist Tim Watson Munro suggested that the murder could have been premeditated. He pointed to Paul Tyson's actions of obtaining a hammer from a hardware store and renting a car on the day of the murder, which he then used to drive to the school. Watson Munro emphasized the clear awareness and intentionality behind Tyson's actions. On October 26, 2023, around 1 a.m., authorities established a second crime scene approximately 11 kilometers away from the initial location at the Gap in Vaucluse, where Paul Tyson was last seen. There, police discovered items linked to the homicide investigation. Following Paul Tyson's disappearance, investigators began exploring the possibility that he had taken his own life after committing the crime, considering him a primary suspect. At 9 a.m., police deployed helicopters and boats to conduct line searches across South Head Reserve in Vaucluse, while ground units patrolled the coastline. The area near the cliff edge at Diamond Bay was cordoned off and a bin was sealed off with a police rescue tent establishing nearby. Later at 5 p.m., a backpack containing Paul Tyson's personal belongings, including a hammer believed to be the murder weapon, was discovered. The following day, at 8 a.m. on October 27, 2023, authorities returned to the scene with ambulances. A body was sighted on the rocks below Diamond Bay Reserve by construction workers at a nearby construction site. Police were promptly notified, and a rescue team was assembled to retrieve the body. At 12:15 p.m., the body was successfully recovered by a rescue and bomb disposal unit, a marine unit, and a Westpac rescue helicopter. The recovered body, initially identified as male, was transported from a blue forensics tent at 3:30 p.m. Subsequent fingerprint analysis confirmed the body to be that of Paul Tyson, with fingerprints cross-referenced with records from the Netherlands embassy. Police also determined that Paul Tyson had arrived at the location around 10 p.m. after the murder, but his activities during the 2 hours preceding his emergency call at around 11 p.m. remain undisclosed. Lillie James's family issued their first statement on October 27, 2023, describing her as vibrant, outgoing, and deeply loved. They thanked the community for their support and announced their decision not to comment further due to the ongoing police investigation. Friends and classmates expressed condolences on social media, and a video of James performing in a school production was shared on the St. Andrew's website. Memorials were set up at the school and James's home, including flowers and notes from colleagues. The school's principal reassured parents that the incident was unforeseeable and emphasized the community's resilience. Counseling services were made available, and school activities were adjusted in response to the tragedy. A candlelight vigil was held in Sans Souci, and a special assembly took place at St. Andrews. A GoFundMe campaign was launched to support James's family, and her funeral was held at Dane Bank. Paul Tyson's parents opted for his cremation and the scattering of his ashes in Sydney instead of bringing his remains back to the Netherlands. Okay guys, that wraps up our video for today. Let us know your thoughts on this horrifying incident in the comment section. And if you found this informative and would love to see more, please give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more.